All right, let's talk about what happened, the aftermath, the big showdown. It went down, and not the way I predicted, which doesn't matter to me. I don't do these videos to prove that I make predictions or any shit like that. That's not what it's about. I'm no expert. So I just give my opinion and I say what I think is happening. I call it how I see it in life, and this is part of my life. So what happened, it was a great show, right? I only caught the main event. I got off work early for all of you guys that kept your fingers crossed for me. So I made it in time to see the main event. And I loved the entrances. It was very theatrical. Tyson Fury kind of reminded me of like a British Apollo Creed coming in when he fought Ivan Drago, like some big thing. And Wilder came in looking like some crazy like Pokemon Decepticon kind of thing. And it was cool. It was fun. And the fight started off, I thought, oh shit. Like when Wilder started pressing Fury up against the ropes in the first round and started landing those right hands. They weren't his heaviest right hands, and they were just like he was touching him with them. And it seemed like he was setting it up to land the big one later in the fight. Let's talk about how it started out. Wilder came out pretty cool. He had he was jabbing to the body and trying to come with the right hand. And, it was a good game plan. We know Fury's a really good boxer and he's a big man. And like I said, you don't want to catch those mitts on your mouth, no matter how soft he punches, relatively speaking. But we saw what happened. And I don't know if I was commenting with the people I was watching it with. And I will say this, I did say it before the commentators on TV said it. I said that Wilder's bleeding out of his ear. His eardrum was popped. And what happened is he made a fatal mistake. That knockdown in the second round hit Wilder right there behind the ear on the back of the head, which is a rabbit punch. But hey, guess what? Don't duck your head. Don't expose the side of your head. Don't expose the back of your head. That's why you gotta duck under, weave under. Bend them at the knees. Don't just try to lean with the waist. Lean forward and put the back of your head down. That's he's lucky all he got was a popped eardrum and suffered his first defeat. You can, unfortunately, I've been at fights and I've seen fighters' careers and almost their lives end because they get hit in the back of the head. So it's no joke. So that right hand that Fury dropped Wilder with in the second round was obviously a heavy punch from a big man, but it wasn't like the hardest punch Deontay's ever been hit with. It just hit him in the right spot to do the right kind of damage. He fought for 5 rounds with a busted eardrum, which, both of those men are champions for a reason. They both have shown us in these 2 fights why they're champions, because they have heart. They have what it takes. They fight even when they can't fight anymore, which is not easy. I don't want to hear anything about Tyson setting up the blueprint on how to beat Deontay. Bring me another guy that's 6'9", 270 with boxing skills, hand speed, footwork like that, and also hit his opponent just exactly in the wrong spot to pop his eardrum, which basically, try even walking in regular life with a busted eardrum, let alone fighting and taking punches from a heavyweight champion. So hats off to Wilder for showing tremendous heart, which is no surprise really. And also to Fury for capitalizing. He came out aggressively and he did what he needed to do to win. And I was shocked. I expected it to be Wilder by TKO round 7 or what have you. But Fury is a champion for a reason, and now that trilogy is looking pretty likely, and Wilder's got some work to do. Yeah, the likelihood of him getting his eardrum busted again in the next fight is not very high. It's probably not going to happen. But Fury stopped him. Didn't just win a decision. There's no controversy. He stopped him. He kicked his ass. And what was up with that licking the blood off of his neck shit, though? Like, I'm not down with that. Like, That's not cool to me. It's not cute. It's not funny. It's pretty kind of fucking sick. But we're gonna stay away from that and why I even whatever. But that's kind of weird. It might be entertaining to some people, but you're probably a sick motherfucker too if you like that shit. But anyways, um, I mean, it was an entertaining spectacle of sport. I mean, I didn't see any of the other fights, but I did see the main event, and I'm glad I did. And I want to see Wilder come back and regain his title. I want to see him beat Fury in the third fight, but the best man tonight was Fury, and he used a superior boxing skill, and that led to everything that happened in the fight. Deontay was leaving his jab out there and just let Fury come right over the top of it with that right hand, and it just that. I mean, he would have been better off getting punched right here than where he got punched behind his ear because, I mean, you guys seen the blood streaming down his ear. Like, what the fuck? So hats off to both men. They both fought with great heart, and Fury used every advantage he had. He was, and the referee, he never said anything to Fury about giving him the guillotine and leaning. I mean, these are tactics that fighters use. Bigger fight, Lennox Lewis used to do that all the time. He used to lean onto the back of shorter opponents and just physically wear them out. And I mean, these are tactics. These are old school tactics. So it's pugilism. It's a sweet science. You got to get down and dirty sometimes, and that's part of the game. And you're going to get away with what you can get away with until someone stops you, right? So it's all fair play at that point. But those were illegal tactics, but it was smart. He used those extra 30 pounds, and after he popped Wilder's eardrum and just leaning on him and choking him here and there, and, hitting him. Those are all smart things to do. So he employed the best possible tactics in this fight, and it paid off big time. And he is the king of the heavyweight division right now, in my estimation. I feel like if he were to fight Anthony Joshua, he's got superior height and range and, I mean, boxing ability. Yeah, AJ was able to do what he did against Ruiz, which was great, overcoming his, that mental aspect of the defeat he suffered to stick to a disciplined game plan to beat Andy Ruiz. But can he do that against Fury? I don't think so. I think Wilder still has a better shot against Fury than does Anthony Joshua, but they've got mandatories to work out and all that. But I imagine that the third fight between Wilder and Fury is going to happen before any of those other fights. So Wilder needs to learn how to avoid that right hand without turning his head. That's where his lack of boxing skill that everybody says he has, that's the glaring aspect of it. It's not his jab or the way he sets up his combos or the way he sets up his hookers right hand. That's not where he's deficient. It's in those kind of things where falling into that trap that Fury set for him, where Fury, said, okay, my right hand might not be KO one punch power like your equalizer or eraser is, but I know where to put it and I know when to put it there. So that's what we witnessed. We witnessed the Gypsy King capitalize as any smart competitor would at the right time, at the right moment, in the right situation. And both men honored the sport. They conducted themselves with true class and in and out of the ring, the way they respect each other after the fight. And I like the comments that both men made. And I'm looking forward to seeing part 3. I'm hoping sometime around September. That seems kind of realistic. I don't know. What do you guys think? So, but yeah, I don't mind being wrong. If I make a prediction and I say this man is going to win or this team is going to win or this, I'm no expert. That's the whole point. But the thing is that it's like we're buddies. We're here. We're having a conversation about these things that we like, these sports that we watch, that we're entertained by, that help us to pass the time and just get us excited about other things aside from just everyday grind of life, right? So, I'm no expert. I'm just here to have a beer with you. We're just going to talk about the sports we enjoy watching, the topics we like talking about. And for me in life and in the realm of sports commentary and analysis or whatever, I'm no expert, but I'm going to call it how I see it. And when I'm wrong, It's just an opportunity to learn. If I can look at where I'm wrong, then maybe I can learn something. And that goes for my sports predictions, and that goes for life. So that's the point. And I was thoroughly entertained by the fight. I still have the utmost respect for Wilder. I've always had a great respect for Fury. You know, of course, I was kind of biased towards Wilder. Yeah, whatever. Who cares? It's great to see two athletes at the peak of their performance in their field, in their sport, and in this case, boxing, heavyweight boxing. It's no game, and you've seen why. And it was just a great fight, and hopefully we see more of this to come. I mean, I'm sure that took a lot out of him. I mean, even Fury didn't leave unmarked. I mean, he showed the marks on his face, but he pretty much dominated that fight for 5.5 rounds from the point of the knockdown on. And I'm glad I got to watch it, and I hope you guys all enjoyed it. And I'm going to continue to make these videos, even though only like 12 of you watch it, and I love you guys for it. But let's maintain that professionalism. Let's maintain that dignity through all the ups and downs and all the knockouts that we suffer. I mean, let's keep it going. And I hope you guys have a blessed night. You know what it is. See you guys next time.